Logo and white text on a blue background. Indeed Jobcast, Graduating into Uncertainty, Tips for Entering the Workforce During COVID-19. A woman sits in an office.
Thank you all for joining us today. We are talking to the class of 2020. Congratulations on graduating. We know you're graduating in uncertainty. We'll be talking about tips for entering the workforce during COVID-19.
Text, agenda.
So, in this webinar today, we're going to cover three things. First, the impact of COVID-19 on recent grads, how to prepare to enter the workforce. We'll cover things from how to customize your resume to great tools Indeed has that you can use right now. And lastly, we'll be covering best practices when it comes to networking in this virtual environment and how you can manage your job search.
Footnote text. The information presented in this webinar is provided as a courtesy, and any views and opinions expressed do not necessarily reflect the official policy or position of Indeed. It does not represent a forecast, prediction, or other indication of future market or economic performance, and should not be relied upon for such purposes. Indeed is not a career or legal advisor and does not guarantee job interviews or offers.
I'm excited to introduce you to my co-panelist that is here today to share some well-earned wisdom.
Text. Today's panelists. Pictures of the two panelists appear next to their name and title.
My name is Muna Hussaini. I'm the Chief of Staff to the CTO and the Job Seeker General Manager. And we're joined by Brittany Oliver today. She's the founder of Lemons to Lemonade. She's been named one of 9 Black women leaders dedicated to empowering others by Forbes. Brittany's a marketing communications professional specializing in public relations, event management, and content marketing strategy. She's based in Nashville, Tennessee, and Brittany's expertise has been featured in Essence, Forbes, Fast Company, Refinery 29, Black Enterprise, and countless podcasts. So Brittany, you're the founder of Lemons to Lemonade. Tell us a little bit about your story and how Lemons to Lemonade was born.
Brittany sits in a living room.
Thank you, Muna, and thank you Indeed for having me today. You know, I know all too well about being a recent grad and having a difficult job search. It's why I created Lemons to Lemonade. Lemons to Lemonade is a networking series and career content platform to help others navigate their careers because I know what it's like to experience a difficult job search. After I graduated from college in 2011, little did I know that I would experience an 8-month period of job searching. Yep, 8 months, and I went on over 100 interviews. That's 100 times I was told no. That was 100 times I was made to feel like I wasn't enough. And that was 100 companies that missed out on my brilliance. And so I had to change my mindset if I wanted to pursue my dreams in New York City. I had to be open-minded about my job search and what I wanted to pursue. I wanted to learn how to navigate and build relationships because it's important to navigating your career, postgraduate and beyond. And lastly, I needed to understand that I wasn't alone in my job search journey, so I needed to find community. And those are some of the things that we're going to talk about today.
Awesome, Brittany. Thank you so much for joining us. As y'all heard from Brittany, and you already know, looking for a job can be a full-time job by itself.
Text. The impact of COVID-19 on recent graduates.
Some graduates have been searching for jobs or have been waiting to hear back from employers about their applications. Others have already been accepted to internships or full-time roles. Now, with the spread of the coronavirus, many graduates are finding their plans are changing, have been interrupted, or are impacted greatly. In a recent Indeed survey of over 1,000 students graduating this year, 54% have said the coronavirus's impact on the labor market has made them feel less confident in finding work after they graduate. Some grads have offers in hand and aren't sure if their offers are at risk or if potential opportunities will be canceled by employers. On the other hand, almost 1/3 of the grads we surveyed feel they will struggle to get into the industry they're graduating in.
Text. How to prepare to enter the workforce during COVID-19.
With that said, these are hard and unprecedented times. New graduates can prepare to leave school and find a job during the COVID-19 outbreak by following the steps we will outline.
Text. Find relief efforts available to you. 6 different types of relief efforts are listed in a row, with a corresponding icon above each one. They are, individual financial aid, food plus meal support, community plus grassroots efforts, delayed rent plus mortgage payments, pausing evictions plus foreclosures, and deferred student loan repayment.
We want to start, though, by making sure that you are taking care of yourself. There are so many federal, state, and local coronavirus relief efforts that are available to you. Support could look different depending on your state or community. Please reach out to your local representatives, community leaders, and school officials for local information, as well as staying updated on local government measures. Potential support is outlined here on the slide. It could range from individual financial aid to community and grassroots efforts to deferred student loan and debt repayment. If you've been laid off or you've had your work hours reduced due to businesses closing in response to the coronavirus, it is possible that additional financial aid is available to you. Please see the link in the chat for additional resources. We highly recommend you take advantage of these relief efforts that are near you. Your well-being is super important, and you've got to put on your own air mask before you put on the ones for everyone around you.
Text. Update your resume online. The purpose of a resume is to present your most relevant experiences and skills in a format that's easy for employers to read. An illustration depicts a man writing doodles on a huge sheet of paper using a huge pen.
So with that said, we'll turn a little bit to go into your specific job search. And the first thing most people start with is updating the resume. But how do you do that? And what should you consider? The first thing I'll say is that I actually recommend having lots of different versions of your resume. Anytime you apply for a job, you should customize your resume for that job. Remember, every manager wants to know, what are you going to do for me, for my team? And it's important to showcase what you bring to the table. I'm going to take you through some common mistakes I've seen on resumes, some best practices that you should consider, and the actual approach you should take to customize your resume. And just as a reminder, there is a link that's posted in the chat right now, 7 college resume tips with examples that could be a further assistant for you. So check out the chat.
Text. Muna's resume tips.
So let's talk about some of the common mistakes I see on resumes. I've looked through thousands of college students' resumes, and I'll tell you, the first one is the biggest one. More is not better. Do not just take up space. Tell me what I need to know. And that leads me to the second point. Keep your information relevant. All things are not equal when it comes to what you put on your resume. So see point 1, don't just take up space. Third, don't make me work for what's important on your resume. Don't bury the one thing that's really important that I need to know that's relevant to the job you're applying in some random place. Make it easy for me. Make sure that important keywords are highlighted or bolded, and make sure that I can figure out what's important on your resume in 30 seconds or less. A lot of times when employers are doing resumes, they will literally print out a resume as they're walking to the interview to talk to you, or in this case, they might just pull it up right before they're going to have a conversation with you. And if you've made it really hard for me to figure out what's important on your resume, I'm busy. I'm just going to say, why don't you tell me about yourself? And that'll mean I missed out on some very easy ways for you to sell yourself. And so that's why order matters. Put the most important things that you need me to know about you first. And with that said, content is important. It needs to be on point. Spelling does matter. Grammar does matter. There are lots of free online tools out there that you can use, or ask a friend to review your resume. And lastly, don't just follow a format that you've been given. Find one that makes sense for you, that highlights the content that you have in an order that makes sense. And remember, you can include any relevant experience you have. It doesn't just have to be paid work. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later. There's the best practices that I'd like to cover with you. Like I said, I've been working in tech for 20 years. I'll tell you that my resume is a little bit longer than a page and a half. Most college students should be fine with 1 page on the length of their resume. The other thing I'll say is you should add an objective statement to the top of your resume. Tell us what kind of role you're looking for, because you may have a conversation with someone and then they may pass your resume to someone else, and that conversation you had didn't pass with the resume. So don't make the person looking at your resume guess at what kind of role or roles you could be looking for. We know that space is precious on your resume, so you only need to include an email and a phone number so someone knows how to reach out to you. For your privacy, nobody needs to know your address, and it can take up another 2 or 3 lines depending how generous you are with your formatting. Another thing I'll say is the soft links are really important to cheat, a really interesting way to cheat and get more information to the person looking at your resume. So if you have a link on there for LinkedIn or GitHub, or let's say you're an artist and you can link to your portfolios, or if these are all the speaking events I've got, people have that soft version of your resume. They will click on those links and they will go and see, you know, whatever you have to offer. And so that's a really great way to get more information. And I'll also say that including the school you went to, the degree you've received, and especially your graduation date is important. It will increase the options that are available to you. So for example, many schools will allow you to apply for what's called a recent college grad role up to 18 months after you graduated. A recent college grad role is a different role than like, you know, an entry level role. And they save those for college students, and you're going to be much more competitive in that bracket. If you don't put your graduation date on your resume, they won't know that you can apply for that type of role. I guess I've also already covered keywords. Please use awards and accolades on your resume. And the last thing I'll say is I have seen a lot of students not put their GPA on their resume. They had a 3.7 and they said, oh, it wasn't that good. I think if your GPA is a 3.0 or above, you should include it. And if it's below and there's extenuating circumstances, you can put, you know, I broke my leg in 2018 and I had to drop all my classes and I failed that semester, right? Really short and simple, broke my leg, had to drop classes that semester. Doesn't have to be like a paragraph sob story, but you know, these are just really easy, basic things anyone can do to make their resume look a little bit more polished.
Text. Let's say I want to hire someone at my bakery.
And so with that said, I actually want to talk to you a little bit more about how to make your resume shine. I'm going to give you a really basic example. Let's say I want to hire someone to work at my bakery. So I'm going to give you an example of resume number 1.
Text. Resume number 1. Tasks.
Resume number 1 has included all the things they know how to do at a bakery. And I'll just say that it's mostly tasks, right? I can gather ingredients. I can get my baking utensils. I can measure. I can mix. I can set the oven to the desired temperature. Okay.
Additional tasks in the list are lick the batter, watch baking in progress, proficient at baking cake.
We know they know how to bake. Got it. But now let's look at resume number 2.
Text. Resume number 2. What you bring.
They haven't put as many tasks, but they showed me the kind of team member I'll be getting if I hire this person and what they bring to the table. This is someone who is always on time. If you know anything about bakeries, they open really early, and this person's always on time, opens the bakery at 4 a.m. They've ensured the pantry is always stocked. Ingredients are never missing. That means baking can always continue. Work isn't interrupted. And they came up with a new way of doing a supply run. So they save 4 hours each week. That's 4 hours more people could be working. They've taught team members how to stack eggs and ensure the eggs don't crack, which means better use of their supplies, better baking, better output, better revenue. They can bake a cake so moist, it won't dry out sitting on the counter after a week. How many of y'all have eaten a cake that was bone dry? Like, I don't care how good it looked. I don't want to have cake from that place ever again.
Additional items in the list are, is able to manage kitchen staff so we can produce 100 cakes every 4 hours, an award, Rookie of the Year.
Hopefully you're getting the point here. This person didn't tell me that they know how to measure ingredients. They didn't tell me that they know how to find the right utensils or set the temperature on the oven. But they are telling me what I get if I hire this person, someone who's reliable, who's on time, who's organized, who can help manage a team, they're thoughtful. I want this person on my team because now I know what I'm getting with them.
The two resumes are shown side by side. The left half of the screen contains the resume with the list of tasks on a white background, while the right half of the screen contains the resume with the list of what you bring on a blue background.
So it's really important, if I had to summarize, tasks tell you what you can do, but if you talk about your accomplishments, if you talk about the things that are on the blue side of the slide, what you bring to the table, what kind of person you're going to be working with, that's what sells someone on wanting you to join their team. And I'll be honest, this could be the same person. The person on the left and the person on the right could be the exact same person. It's just how they've chosen to showcase what they bring to the table. I know bragging or really tooting your own horn can be hard. Ask people who you used to work with or who know you really well what you could put on your resume as a starting point. And so next, I'll talk to you about the approach you can take when customizing your resume.
Text: customizing your resume every time you apply to a job. The 4 components of a resume are listed in a row, with a corresponding icon above each one. They are job description, work experience, coursework and projects, volunteerism, leadership.
So, how do you customize your resume? You should be doing this every time you apply, and you should tweak your resume to fit a job. And so here's how you should be thinking about that. First, you always start with the job description. That's what I have on the left side of the slide. What is the role? Read that job description. Make sure your objective statement matches the job description you're applying for. It helps, you to clue in and for the person reading to clue in and make sure, okay, this is a match. Look at the requirements on the job description and make sure that you have things on your resume that match the requirements in the job description. An easy one to do is to include basic keywords that show up. And I'll give you a pro tip here. A lot of recruiters use keyword searches to make sure that you match as a candidate what the hiring manager is looking for and the requirements. It's really important, if you can, to upload a soft file of your resume. So what does that mean? I typed up the file, I saved it as a .doc, and I converted it to a PDF. What I see a lot of students do is print out a copy of their resume and they'll scan it in Adobe and then upload that PDF. And what happens is that when a recruiter is doing keyword searches on your file, some of the words may not show up because that scanning technology just isn't as rich as a soft file. And so use those soft files when you can to share your resumes. And then when it comes to that job description, make sure that what you have on your resume, the things that match the most are what show up first. Now, what should you put on your resume? I like to start with work experience. You should list what your relevant work experience is first. Make sure you include accomplishments and contributions over tasks. Like think about that blue side of the slide, the person who's always on time, if you will, and showcase the expertise and skill set that you bring. Now, if you don't have work experience, that's okay. A lot of college students don't have a lot of work experience. And so when I look at their resumes, I don't want them to just fill it up with anything. Remember, fill it up with what's relevant. I recommend that you add coursework and projects you've done. So when you go back and look at the job description, anything that's relevant is game. Make sure you include a description of what you've done and the skills that you use to get that job done, right? You can include what you worked on and what you learned. You can include anything like what was the outcome of the project you worked on. If you're in tech, make sure to include a link to GitHub so that people can go in and see your code. Or again, I use that example of artist. Here's a link to my portfolio. These are all the things, these are the type of media I've worked with, anything like that. The other thing to include is your volunteerism or leadership. It's important to show your growth. Were you always a volunteer, or did you start with an organization as a volunteer, then join a committee, then lead an organization? That continuity and growth over time looks amazing. Share not just what you did, but what your responsibilities were or what your contributions were that you made. And it's okay if the volunteerism and leadership isn't directly involved with the job that you're applying for, because it shows that you are able to grow and do things. The last thing I'll say is apply, apply, apply. Don't rule yourself out on your own. Let others rule you out, and don't get discouraged. So a lot of the tips I mentioned are super important as you customize your resume. Many of you might be considering roles that you weren't before, so these tips will help you shine no matter what your next step is, so that you can show up in the best light for the role you're applying for. Which brings me to my next point.
An illustration depicts a courier riding a bike while a bird flies along.
It's okay to consider work outside of your specialty. Maybe it'll be the stepping stone that you need to get through this phase. And depending on your financial situation, it may be necessary to consider short-term work or work outside of your expertise. If you're able to work during this time and add experience to your resume, it could improve your resume for the job you're looking for the long term. And these new opportunities could help you bring transferable skills to your new role and set you up for success.
Text. Prioritize transferable and soft skills that could support you in your chosen career path later.
Friendly reminder, check the chat. They've added a link that would be helpful, 10 top job skills for any industry or transferable skill you may need. Brittany, I know you wanted to add a point on the slide.
Yes, one thing that I remember in my job search is the minute that I opened up the roles that I was applying to, opportunities start to come for me. So my first job after the long job search was an office assistant role at a hospital. So it was part-time. But one thing that office assistant roles, call centers, customer support, even brand ambassador roles like a HelloFresh ambassador role, what they do is you can get above minimum wage healthcare, and it provides an office setting where you can start to learn how to navigate an office culture. So those are really great roles that you can start looking at.
Yeah, absolutely. And there are lots of roles that are hiring right now, like warehouse distribution,
Exactly.
grocery inventory, stocking, and food delivery. So awesome points there. Thank you, Brittany. What I can tell you is we have some tools right now on our Indeed site that you can be using to show employers you're available. We have a hashtag ready to work that you can add to your Indeed resume summary. This hashtag lets employers know that you are immediately available for any job, and it makes it easy for employers to find you on our site through a resume database search that they can do. You can make that update at my.indeed.com. And when you land that job and you're no longer searching for employment, just remove that hashtag from your profile summary.
An example screen of an Indeed user web page. It has 3 tabs labeled Resume, About Me, and Dashboard. The contents of the Resume tab reads, "Are you available immediately for any job due to COVID-19? Add hashtag ready to work to the summary of your Indeed resume." A laptop and heart icon is beside the text, while a button with the text add hashtag ready to work is below it.
So I'll hand it over to Brittany now to take you through how to manage your job search and virtual networking.
Text. Manage your job search each week. Limit the hours spent and applications, target roles, identify hiring managers, and connect. An illustration depicts a woman looking at a blue heart icon on her smartphone screen.
So you guys, it's so important to manage your job search each week, because one thing is for sure, job search fatigue is real. And I learned about that during the job search. I'll never forget a time that I went into an interview, and after that interview, the hiring manager asked me, "How many jobs have you been applying to?" And he said, "I can see the job fatigue all over your face and your body language." And so it's so important to manage how much hours you're spending looking for jobs. Are you giving yourself grace? Are you giving yourself a break? And so one way you can start managing your job search each week is by creating a schedule. You can use tools like Asana and Google Excel to help track how many jobs you're applying to and how much time you're spending. Another way is to set up alerts. Like Indeed has a really great weekly or daily alert system that will send emails with all the different roles that are around your interest or your location. So that's a really great tool to use to help you source through different jobs each week and plan out what you're going to apply to. Another way to just get your name on top of mind. So sometimes it's not enough to just apply online for a job. Sometimes you have to take an extra step, and that extra step is identifying hiring managers. So look back into those job descriptions, and sometimes they'll show which person that role will report to. So for example, you may see a role that you have to report to the senior marketing manager at Netflix. So you're going to Google that role in that company, and you'll start to see a profile. Maybe a LinkedIn profile will showcase the people who are the senior marketing managers for Netflix. Once you look at their profiles, you'll see who's the right person for that role, and you want to contact them. You want to just express interest with that role. You want to attach your resume and let them know that you applied. Now, this is subjective. Some hiring managers don't like it, but others, it may help you get on the top of the pile, especially if you apply to a job using a job application and maybe your keywords don't trigger. There's so many of us that can apply for a job online, and within an hour we receive an email saying we're not interested. So when you see those things happening, maybe it is your resume, and Muna shared some tips earlier about how to navigate that resume and writing that.
Text, prepare for remote hiring and working, virtual interviews, remote work. An illustration depicts a woman at a computer engaged in a video chat with a man. They wave to each other.
So now that you have your resume together and you've targeted the roles that you're looking for, you want to get ready for virtual interviews. Virtual interviews are here to stay. It's something new and it's popular during this time because we're all at home. So you should start practicing. Practice having mock interviews with someone you trust. You can do it in a group setting or just with one person, but you want to practice the phone interview as well as the virtual interview because there's things that we have to learn. There's social cues that you don't always pick up on when you're on virtual. For example, you may not know when to speak when someone's speaking. You don't know how to pick those social cues up. So practice makes perfect. The other thing you want to do is find a good space for you in your home. A lot of us are back home with our parents. Everyone's virtual working. So how do you find that space for you and make it your own? So do that by putting things around your desk, making that desk correspond with your vibe so that you have a better experience virtual interviewing or working from remote eventually. You also want to set boundaries with people. Be clear about your expectations. Let your parents know, hey, at 1 o'clock, I have a virtual interview. I'll be in this room. Just so you can set that space for your parents to not disturb you, right? And then lastly, you want to take breaks. You want to make sure you're scheduling breaks using your Google Calendar just to get those alerts so you can step away from the computer, walk around, take a break, because being in front of the computer isn't always good, especially if you're doing it all day.
Text, expect slower hiring and onboarding. Tempering your expectations as you graduate and enter the workforce could help you as employers adjust to this new environment. A sign on a shop door says, open.
So right now, not only is this a time that we're all navigating, but employers are too. You're probably wondering, why is it taking so long to hear back from a hiring manager during this job search? You're probably looking at your inbox, refreshing every day, every 30 minutes, like, when will someone write me back? But there's so many things that are happening on the employer side. It's a new normal for them too. Companies are downsizing, so staffs that were larger to help with the onboarding process, they're no longer available. So you have smaller staff navigating this. And Muna, you also had some reasons why.
So In a regular environment, when you apply for a job, the job goes to a recruiter. The recruiter looks through the roles, and maybe they have a weekly meeting with the hiring manager to then review resumes, and then the hiring manager will think about it, and then they have to figure out scheduling, and then they get back to you. And so on a regular basis, it takes some time for folks to get back to you. So in this kind of environment, it could take even longer with the challenges that employers are facing.
Yeah, so just expect slower hiring times and give yourself grace. If you're needing just affirmations in the morning, Career Thrivers has really great career affirmations where you can wake up in the morning and just set the tone for your day. So when you're thrown a curveball or a lemon, rather, in your job search, you can really navigate those situations.
Pursue more training or education, professional development, online certifications, skill-specific classes. Be wary of added debt. A woman works at a computer. On her desk is a vase with a flower and a clock that says 9 o'clock.
So now that you've set, you're doing your job search, but sometimes people are wondering, should I go back into the job force right now? Or should I consider pursuing, more training or education during this time? I know it's scary right now because there may be a field that you're interested in and you don't see a lot of job openings. So what can you do during this time besides trying to get a job? Well, professional development is always a great thing to do. Some graduates feel that the opportunity costs for attending school may be lower, as their chosen industries may have fewer opportunities for entry-level position. So consider professional development training, online certification, skill-specific classes that can help you for your next level. You can also consider going to a local community college, especially to cut down on costs and additional debt. Because some of us have student loans, and so you wonder if you can do this. And that's why maybe an online certification may be best for you. There's some other places that you can get other online offerings like the GCF Global, Coursera, Udemy, or Masterclass. Check the link in the chat and you'll see some more free options to get professional training.
Text. Be informed about your market value. When you start your career, the salary you're offered now may be lower than anticipated. Consider how to minimize the long-term impact on future pay by knowing your market value and keeping options open. An illustration depicts a hand holding up buildings and coins on its palm.
Another concern for a lot of us is our salary. And, some fresh graduates may be wondering whether leaving school in this circumstance may negatively affect their lifetime earnings as employers adjust to new coronavirus. And that's true. Salaries are looking different now, and you may be offered a lower base salary for an entry-level position. But you can plan for that. You can plan for that now. And so you may want to take extra steps to minimize the chances that this base salary will reduce your future pay in the chosen path. Search for better opportunities in your chosen field. And find ways to increase your career mobility. Updating your job alerts, researching competitive salary ranges, and actively networking can all be ways to open up your salary opportunities.
Text. Try the salary calculator. Simply enter your details and see your personalized pay range in seconds. Getting your personal pay range is anonymous, free, comprehensive. URL, indeed.com/career/salary-calculator. A screenshot shows an example of an Indeed salary calculator page.
And this is really great. So Indeed has a new tool. It's their salary calculator. And this will help you compare your salary to people with similar profiles and get up-to-date information on compensation based on your current job market. So check out their new salary calculator to help you.
Text. Networking virtually for future success.
So networking is so important. It's such a key component to postgraduate life. And so today you need to understand the power of building that network virtually. So one way that you can start doing this is by building your personal brand.
Text. Building your personal brand. Your online presence can be the bridge that helps you establish industry authority and career opportunities if done right. It all starts with who you follow and who follows you. A laptop has a speech bubble above it that has a blue heart icon in it.
So nowadays, employers are combing through our digital footprint online. So now it's time to clean up those social media pages. When's the last time that you Googled yourself? When this jobcast is over, take the time to Google your name and see what's online. What do the pictures show? Is your LinkedIn or maybe your website or portfolio on the first page of your name? Those are things that are important because employers are looking these things up. And by building your personal brand and doing it the right way, it really can help employers figure out, are you capable of doing this job? You can utilize a website, your portfolio, social media to really enhance your expertise and your authority in your field. So what is a personal brand? Well, in a nutshell, it's just how you talk about yourself. It's how you share your story, your passions, and how you can bring value to someone's company. It's the same things that you look for in an employer, right? So when you're applying, you're looking to see what values that company has, what kind of culture they have, what do they have to offer you. So just like you're vetting the brand of a potential employer, they're doing the same for you.
Text. Check in to keep relationships fresh. Checking in with your contacts frequently will help your network stay updated with your career progress and needs. A screen with 4 people engaged in a video chat.
Another important aspect of networking is to keep your relationships fresh. It's so important. Email is a great way to keep those relationships fresh. So you want to check in with your contacts frequently. And by doing that you keep your network updated about your career process and needs. So doing quarterly check-ins will help your network they keep them informed, but it also will allow them to assist you in times of need. So the first thing to remember is that email checks should start the minute you meet someone. The minute someone gives you their business card or tells you, hey, keep in touch or connect with me. That's the first thing you should do is email them right away and connect with them. And then you want to just keep in touch. So create an Excel sheet or any way that you keep up with things. Create that sheet of the names of your contacts and when's the last time you emailed them or contacted them. Also, by doing that, you can see who's interested in being a part of your network. So after that first email attempt that you send, you'll see if someone responds to you. If they don't, that's someone who may not be committed into, receiving updates and being a part of your squad. Everyone wants that squad. And so if they're not, then they're not the person for you.
Brittany, I can tell you there are 99% of the students that I hand my business card to don't email me back. And I always wonder why, because I'm happy to help them. I guess the other thing I'll say is I agree with you if people don't write back. Maybe they're not committed. They could also just be busy. And so,
yes.
In that first email, so like, I know you're busy. If I don't hear from you in a few weeks, I'll track back. And that way you can at least track back one more time. And then people will be like, oh, sorry, I forgot. And they'll get back to you. So I think most people are willing, but all good tips, Brittany. Thank you.
Yes. Yeah. Don't be afraid to do a check-in, just to follow up to see if that person got your email. And check the link in the chat to get more information on conversation starters for networking and relationship building.
Text. Seek support from online communities. The more you engage and create relationships in online communities, the more people you'll have that will champion your career journey. A heart icon is displayed on a smartphone screen, and circular rings emanate from it.
So the last thing that you need to know in terms of virtual networking is that you're not alone in your journey. There's always support online, and a lot of us don't utilize that. So there's many websites, community groups, Facebook groups, Slack channels, GroupMe's that have a group of people who have similar interests and that you have. And so you want to connect to those communities so that you can feel supported. And these online communities offer resources, tools, a listening ear. These can also lead to mentorship opportunities. So check out places, some of the communities that I leaned in to during my job search was Mem Connect, The Memo, Career Thrivers, Career Contessa. Those were really great resources for me. Also, check out your alumni network. Really great network. Keep in touch with your career counselors or career centers from school. They'll keep your email in a database and they'll send you jobs. And they'll also connect you with alumni that may work at a company that you're interested in and connect you with them. So keep in touch. Keep in touch.
Text. Join the conversation. Learn what others are doing to find jobs during this time, ask a question or contribute advice. URL, indeed.com/community. A screenshot of an Indeed community page.
And one thing that's great is that Indeed relaunched their own online community. So this is another platform that you could use to get that community feel and that support that you need. What makes this unique is that you can connect with job seekers, peers, but you also can connect with Indeed employees and professional career coaches. So this is a really great tool for that.
Text. Be proud of yourself. You are facing challenges as a new graduate entering the workforce that many people will never experience. An illustration depicts a new graduate in academic dress and surrounded by confetti emerging from a laptop screen and tossing her academic cap.
And, lastly, be proud of yourselves. I mean, this is a unique time. Nobody has experienced the time that we're in before. And so you graduated, you're here, and that is the first step. Like, you deserve a round of applause. Like, pat yourself on the back. No matter what you decide to do, it's important to acknowledge that you are facing challenges as a new graduate entering the workforce, and that many people will never experience this. Above all, take care of yourself and the people around you as we navigate the situation together.
Text. Let's recap. 1. Find relief efforts available to you. 2. Update your resume online. 3. Consider work outside your specialty in the interim. 4. Manage your job search each week. 5. Prepare for remote hiring and working. 6. Expect slower hiring and onboarding. 7. Pursue more training or education. 8. Be informed about your market value. 9. Build your personal brand. 10. Check in to keep relationships fresh. 11. Seek support from online communities. 12. Be proud of yourself.
So that concludes our Jobcast today. Here's a recap of all the things that we touched on today.
Yeah, and there's a great link in the chat, tips for graduates entering the workforce during COVID-19. We hopefully were able to get to all of your questions in this presentation. If you've still got questions, please post on the Indeed community at go.indeed.com/graduating. And Indeed employees and career coaches will provide answers.
Text. Check out our other webinars. Register for an upcoming Indeed Jobcast, view on-demand webinars, and get helpful job search advice on the new Indeed Jobcast page. URL, go.indeed.com/jobcast. A screenshot of an Indeed Jobcast page.
While you're at home, check out our other webinars on job-related topics. We cover things like navigating the job search during COVID-19. There are several recordings on the Jobcast page. You can check them out on go.indeed.com/jobcast. And finally, we've also curated lots of relevant tips and information about addressing the impacts of COVID-19 on your job at indeed.com/here-to-help. It's important that you know you're not alone. We're here for you. And last but not least, thank you so much, Brittany Oliver, for joining us and sharing your wisdom today. Brittany, please tell our audience a little bit more about how they can stay in touch with you after this webcast is over.
Text. Learn more from Brittany Oliver. Visit BrittanyOliver.com to get more tips via the Lemons 2 Lemonade blog, and keep informed about upcoming #L2L mixers by subscribing to our newsletter by visiting the website. Twitter social media icon and text. Twitter.com/Brit_S_O. Instagram social media icon and text, Instagram.com/BSOliver. LinkedIn social media icon and text, LinkedIn.com/in/BSOliver. Brittany wears a yellow dress and holds up a lemon with the word fearless written on it. Other lemons are on a plate in front of her and are written with the words grace, resilience, purpose, faith, loyalty, and others.
Yes, so please visit BrittanyOliver.com to get more tips on how to navigate your job search. You can also visit the website to sign up for the bi-weekly newsletter and keep updated on L2L mixers in the future. And also you'll see my social media links. Feel free to email me. I'm always here to help.
Fearless. I love it. Thank you so much, Brittany. Thank you, everyone, for joining. That's all for today. For the latest information from Indeed, follow us on social media too, and we'll continue to share relevant updates there. Thank you for tuning in. We hope you have a great day and take care.
Logo and white text on a blue background, Indeed Jobcast.